Hi guys, so I'm gonna read the Namor story in Marvel Mystery Comics number 5. This story's kind of weird because Namor actually becomes like a superhero, like he gets a cape in that, like Superman, and he has like a red shirt on, and that is really kind of weird. But anyway, Prince Namor, the Submariner, the Ultraman of the deep, lives on land and the sea. Namor's navy of submariners has cleared a path through the mine-infested waters of the North Sea for the American freighter Marie, formerly captured by the enemy on the excuse that she carried contraband cargo, and now rescued virtually single-handed by Namor. She rides the waves towards a neutral port. Heavily she dips and rolls in the mountainous, never-ceasing waves, her beams creaking, the clang of iron chains ringing against her hull, and finally, 3 days later, she slips quietly into the little harbor of Durnhaven, escorted by protecting sub-chasers and coastal motorboats. "Ahoy there! You're safe now, so I'll be leaving you. Goodbye, good luck." Clinging to a rope in the side of the ship, Namor hails a hearty farewell to the captain and crew, then dives below surface to his flagship, idling at the bottom of the harbor. He gives a telepathic command. "Fleet formation, set course southwest by south, full speed ahead. Lieutenant Mogar, take the helm, set the cutting edge on the planes, and let nothing stand in our way. We must get back home at once. 9,000 miles from here to our ice palace. The aerial subs are in good condition, so we should be there in 2 days. I shall ask the Emperor for permission to return to the United States. I've had enough of this confounded war. Perhaps I can do some good for the American people, my father's countrymen. My friend Betty Dean, the young policewoman, should be back in New York by now. She can tell me how to get started on my philanthropic campaign." Exactly 2 days later, Namor's fleet arrives at the Great Ice Castle. He, without a giant iceberg in the cold South Antarctic waters, the undersea men tumble from their aerial submarines in frenzied confusion, anxious to get back to their wives and children. "Greetings, Holy One. Your wandering prodigy has returned again, after a successful venture into the European war zone." So this is what Namor looks like during the whole issue. But this quickly goes in the next issue. He gets back to normal. But good Namor, my boy. And now I suppose you have come for me for another favor? After repairing to his mother's rooms in the castle and changing his clothes, Namor appears before the Emperor. "Yes, sire, I wish permission to go back to America. There is much to be done there, both good and bad, and I'm tired of meddling in this silly war between dictatorship and democracy." "Very well, son. I suppose you know what you are doing. And after all, since your father was an American, I cannot very well refuse to let you go, but your mother will be angry." "I'm sorry about mother, but it can't be helped. I've got to go. Goodbye, sir." "Goodbye, and blessings on you, boy." So that's Namor's grandfather. 15 minutes later, Namor's on his way. First thing to do is to find Betty. 3 days travel by sea and air, Namor having wing feet, such as the Greek god Mercury, brings the submariner into the waters of New York Harbor. Here he swims about, cautiously looking for some way to get ashore without being seen by the police. That pier looks like a likely spot. Ah, and there's a rope hanging over the ledge. I'll sneak up on it and get into the city unnoticed. Namor swims toward the huge docks on the North River. Grabbing the rope, he pulls himself quietly out of the water. "Holy Mother of Mary! What's that, Mikey? Me buy? Me buy? Like Okay, yeah, that's like Irish, yeah. Say, it's some fool's masquerade, or by golly, the Submariner." "Sure thing, Danny. It's the Submariner, all right. Let's get him before he has a chance to get away. Even as the policemen fire, Namor swings down and sweeps out of range. Swift as a dart, Namor shoots into the air as the policemen empty their revolvers at him in vain. Holy smokes, Danny, he's flying into the air. We missed him altogether. What will we do now? Call headquarters, Mickey. Get the riot squad. Get the Air Corps out. If he flies again, the planes can force him down. The sirens screaming. Cars race through the streets, headed for the scene of Namor's arrival. While overhead from Floyd Bennett Field come city police planes searching for Namor. Frantically, the armed policemen rake the building tops with machine gun fire and their cult specials, but the Submariner is evasive. Yeah, so I can't read much of this. I'm pretty sure I saw a fellow up there a second ago. His attention glued to the firing squad, Namor soars into the air, unaware of the impending danger, until suddenly a green and white monoplane dives down upon him. His cloak catches into the landing gear and he is forced down with the speed of a plane, helpless, but he rips free, unconscious, and plummets to earth, a limp, lifeless body, while in the streets below, the fire department anticipates his arrival, and with a terrific hollow thud, Namor plunks into the life net. Immediately, the riot squad rushes forward. Taking no chances, the men leap upon their capture, but finding him unconscious, they revert to gentler methods of subduing him. Suddenly, Namor comes to. Startled, he looks about him, and just as a fireman starts to bind him with a rope, he pulls an old jujitsu trick, throwing the fireman over his shoulder. How would Namor know jujitsu? Well, I guess it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. That's what that, anyway. Like a streak of lightning, he's upon his feet and smashing into his captors. But suddenly from behind comes an ambulance doctor and clamps a chloroformed sponge to Namor's nose. Unable to combat the fumes, Namor sinks into a heavy synthetic slumber. He is then strapped to a stretcher and placed in the ambulance, and whirled through the city's traffic to the police station. Okay, boys, take him inside. The cell will do. Lay him on the cot here. We'll leave him strapped to the stretcher. He will raise the devil when he comes to. Sergeant, who was that they just brought in? That Officer Dean. Me proud beauty was the notorious Submariner. Why do you ask? At the booking desk, policewoman Betty Dean shows interest in the prisoner. The Submariner, great heavens! Why, I know him well. He's the one who kidnapped me and took me to the sea, then raised such heck with the Germans. Take me to him, Sergeant. I must talk with him. Hello, Namor. We'll have you out of here in a jiffy. How come you're back in this part of the country? What? Oh, Betty. Betty rushes to the cell and with the permission of the sergeant releases Namor, who regains consciousness. Well, I'm certainly glad you showed up. Betty, can't you get me out of this? All I want is to help you people. Have me sworn in as a deputy or a policeman or something, and I'll show you what I can do. Well, in the outer office at the switchboard, a call comes in from a subway dispatcher's office. Holy smokes, what's this? A flood? And a wreck? Okay. We'll have the emergency squad there right away. Yes, sir. Hey, Sarge, call come in from the headquarters of the Midtown subway. There's been a flood and a wreck at 5th Street. I've sent the emergency squad down, but I think you'd better look into it yourself. And at 5th Street, many feet below the surface, confusion reigns as waters rage about the mad jumble of steel and iron. Women scream and men shout in terror as the waters tear through the tunnel. Look, Betty, this is my chance. Let me handle the wreck. I can take care of it practically single-handed. Use your influence and let me redeem myself. Okay, Namor. If Betty guarantees you, I guess we can let you escape. The commissioner must know nothing about it. Not until you finish what you plan to do. Go, now, and good luck to you. Namor is released secretly from headquarters. Out in the open, Namor tears through the streets, speaking toward 5th Street and underground catastrophe. At 5th Street, Namor darts into the subway entrance to meet a raging torrent of black, sooty water. Wasting no time, he speeds towards the nearest overturned car, riding it with ease as he bends his shoulders and applies his weight, the strength of 100 whales. Victims cling to him as he snatches them from the twisted mass of steel, tearing through the water to the exits, then back again to the cold, wet blackness of the subterranean deluge. Bubbles of the surface warn him of a submerged victim. He dives and the man is rescued. Oh, looks like the leak sprang here. But wait a minute, that's a man-made hole. Better look into this. With his usual impulsiveness, Namor ducks through the narrow opening and finds himself in a long, dark tunnel, leading to who knows where. Don't like the looks of this at all, but it may lead to something. Namor follows the water's current, hoping to find its source. Meanwhile, pedestrian traffic passes in front of the Treasury, unaware of the drama taking place beneath its basement. Okay, boys, we're almost through. 2 more feet and we'll have it. A sinister black-clad figure supervises a group of men drilling through bedrock. Whoa, what's this? Looks like the end of my journey. A fork in the tunnel, and a safe-like door? It may be impossible, but there's just a chance that I can break through. A tough door, though. Namor contemplates the steel barrier before him, planning a way to get through. Finally, resorting to brute force, he lays hold of the handle and practically rips the door from its hinges, to find himself again in another tunnel, at the far end of which is a group of men dressed as sandhogs. I don't know if that's offensive or I don't think it is, but drilling through the wall of rock and clay. Hearing Namor approach, the leader wheels about, cursing. Who's that, well, you miserable interloper? You'll be sorry you ever had a pair of eyes. He whips out an automatic out of his coat pocket and snaps a shot at Namor. Namor falls, crashing to the wet, muddy floor of the tunnel. He feigns death. A moment later, a thunderous boom, and the sandhogs burst through the wall into the great secret vault of the Treasury. Good work, boys. There's all here. Millions of dollars in gold and silver bullion. Great idea the boss had. This vault is protected on 3 sides by an underground channel of water. But all we had to do is divert the water into the subway. That caused a wreck and drew attention away from us. So, bank robbers. And they think they can get away with it. Well, we'll see about that. Namor, waiting until the men get into the vault, suddenly leaps through the torn opening, and bursts through the robbers, smashing them right and left. Taken completely by surprise, he catches them off guard, and they are helpless. His strength is terrific, bones are broken, and men scream horribly. Chaos. Holy smoke, what's going on here? Hearing the commotion, guards arrive at the scene. I might have known it. Mills Gilligan and his outfit. How did you discover him? Simply because there is too much water in the subway tunnel to have come from just a broken pipeline. I suspect another source, and I found it. As you see, most of the water came from the reservoir around this vault. So, explaining the capture of Mills Gilligan and his gang, we leave Namor in the Treasury building. What will he do next? Watch for Marvel Comics next month. So yeah, this thing of Namor being a superhero, like an actual superhero, it only lasts this issue. In the next issue, Namor becomes like a renegade anti-hero again. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you want to comment down below, that's good. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.